Oh yeah, man, and we're definitely live from the pop-up store. We're celebrating 20 years of Rinse. We're broadcasting from Dre Walk off Brick Lane, and we got Wretch 3-2 in the building, unmistakable.
Yeah.
Oh man,
what's happening,
man? I remember the first times you came up to the station when we was in a whole different building,
a whole different
situation.
It was.
We weren't sitting down at tables with mics like this.
No. See, we're lazy now. We're late. Did you see what happens in progression? You get lazy, man. You start sitting down.
You artists are so bougie now that you don't even want to freestyle when you come down or anything.
You know what it is. You see what happens now? It turned into planned styles. That way you know in advance, so you're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do this one on there and I'm gonna do this one on there. The on the spot thing, I'm just like,
But how's life for you though, man? You've came back, it's been a little bit of time in between albums, in between singles.
Yeah.
6 Words is the new track. I don't know what people expected the direction for you to come back in, but the way that you've come back, it looks like a big smash.
Do you know what it is? That's exactly why I made that record. It's one of them things where I notice whenever I bump into people on the street or I speak to my peers, they're like, you know what we love about you? When you come back, we don't know what you're going to come back with. And I'm like, okay, this is now become a gift and a curse, because it's like, I'm the guy that's supposed to come back with something groundbreaking or something that sounds left or pushing the boundaries or whatever. And it's something I wear proudly. So in making this record, this was a concept and an idea that I had for the album that's coming after the one that's coming. So not growing over life, the one after that. But I thought it's time to pull it forward. And then when I get to that point, I'll figure out what's new then.
So why did you feel like you had to pull it forward? You needed to make a bigger splash when you come back? Because, with the expectation of Wretch 3-2, people expect a lot from you. Like, you can't just... It's got to the level now where you can't just come with a street track. You're past that now. You need to come with the big track. And I don't think people can complain about that when it comes to you.
Yeah, exactly that. And it's one of them things. It's like, do you want to hear me just do 3/16s again on something? And it was like, I was contemplating. I was like, okay, cool. Because initially I wanted to make something with no chorus, and I was like, I want to get something there with no hook, but structured in a mad way. And then it was like, I knew the battles I was gonna face, man. It was gonna be like, no, we're gonna need a radio edit, and this is gonna have to happen. And I wasn't prepared to fight that fight, man. I was just like, do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do something different again. You know what I mean? And it's good that we got 6 Words, and it's good that it came out how it came out, because I know that right now the scene needs a big record that is, is credible, coming from a credible artist, sounding credible. And
and I'm glad you said that, and we're going to pick up on that, but we're going to play some music, man. We're going to flash back to Tractor. This was like the beginning of a new stage for you.
I ride motherfucking beat like a tractor. I ride motherfucking beat like a train. Choo-choo, go hard, go faster. Stack peas every day. I ride motherfucking beat like a tractor. I ride motherfucking beat like a plane. Choo-choo down the rabbit hole. More women, more alcohol.
Many people would have said that if you didn't have Tractor, you wouldn't be in the situation you're in right now.
1,000,000%, man. But at the same time, I still look at it like, I still would always argue the fight. Like, if I didn't have Learn From My mixtape, I wouldn't be here. If I didn't have the freestyle I done on your shows, I wouldn't be here. I think that everything was a step towards this direction. And I think that if we take one thing out, like without Learn From My mixtape, I might not have been credible enough to get radio play or bump into the likes of you or what, you know what I mean? And so I think everything had its part to play.
Now, you said something before we played Tractor that it's due that a big song, like coming from the scene. And when we talk about the scene, we're talking about whether it's the UK hip hop or the MC thing. A big track was due. And I have to relate and agree with you on that, because there has been a lack of that over the past, I think, 18 months now. People are really saying it's moved away from the rap, the MC-driven UK music. And obviously you're coming back. How does that affect you, man?
It's like, I could feel when everybody thought that we was the coolest thing in the world. And then I could just feel it change. And then all of a sudden now it's like the DJs that are producing are the cool thing, headlining festivals, the cool acts, the cool artists. You know what I mean? And obviously a lot of them have been paying their dues for years, just like we were. But I realized that there's like cycles, man. People put music in cycles, and what the music we make is probably considered out of cycle right now. So I think sometimes when that happens, it takes the people at the forefront, like the leaders or the ones who are in that position, to to actually scream and really smash through another ceiling, because we had to smash through a ceiling to get here. You know what I mean? Tinchy and that, and Chip and all these guys, Dizzy and Kane, they smashed through a ceiling to say, look, we exist. And then we went through a next ceiling to show, look, we don't only exist, we sell at the O2 Arena. That was Tiny's, you know what I mean? Tiny's thing, and we go number one, and we'll smash any festival main stage that you put us on. And that was another ceiling for us. And I think now we're at another ceiling where it's like, okay, who's gonna come through with an incredible record that can be compared to Coldplay but can get played on any other station but still can be credible, and maybe this is the record, hopefully.
We're definitely gonna get to another one of your emotional songs, man. Forgiveness.
Went to church to pray for a top 10, then I went number 5, I ain't been back again. But when my jewelry friend phones like they got new rings, I most likely attend.
So we just played Forgiveness.
Yeah.
That's off the second album.
Off the second album.
Black and White. And I think we agree, and you're going to obviously agree, but I speak to loads of people about this, and the song was very slept on. Like, if we talk about chart success, that was a song that was supposed to definitely be celebrated in its own right differently.
Yeah.
You agree with that, right?
It's definitely one of them records, man, because I kind of knew that this wasn't going to pop off in the chart, but I knew that the respect that I would obtain off this record, I knew it was more important than it just popping up in the chart. It's not a traditional hit, but what did happen with this, like the spike on the album sales just consistently grew, and and it really picked it back up, because it was like people heard this and was like, okay, he's not just doing Unorthodox, and he's not just doing Don't Go, and he's got a lot more to say, and there's more depth to it, so they bought the album. Obviously people from before Tractor knew what I was about, but we're talking about the masses in the country here, so yeah.
And I think you've been very respected for your choice in singles as well, because you have to play the game to an extent and make songs that are accessible for the charts. You know what I mean? You've grown, you're in a different place. It's all relative to your journey, but you haven't made those corny songs like a lot of other artists that we can mention. Respect to them though.
Yeah.
How have you managed to do that though? Because being attached to a major label as well, that's a tricky situation.
It is, and it's always I wouldn't even like to say the word battle, but it's always an issue, and it's always something we got to talk through and go back and forth on emails, because the song isn't sounding as commercial as other records. But with me, man, I only know how to make what I make, man, and I really tailor my stuff, and I don't want to put something out that I don't like, and I feel real music the most. So all my singles are always going to have that heartfelt, or they're going to have, it's going to be epic, and it's going to feel right, man.
Growing over life. Now, I don't think growing over life is that an English sentence? Like, does it?
I don't think it is. But it's one of them things where I always used to. Don't you remember being a kid? On your birthday, waking up, running to the wall, trying to measure yourself to see if you got taller, because you thought that you grew overnight. And it's something that my mum always used to say to me, like, just don't rush. Like, don't be in a rush to grow up. Like, you don't just grow up overnight. It takes time. And I've realized, like, I'm still growing over life. Like, I'm considered an adult. I'm 29 years old. I've got 2 kids, but I'm still learning things from my children. I'm learning things from other artists. I'm learning things from cabmen. I'm learning things from people in general, just as I go on. So it is over life that I'm growing.
Yeah, it's funny you said that, because I was talking to someone the other day, like, the age that we're at now is what our parents were when we was, about, the age of our children or whatever. But I feel like a kid. I don't feel like, I looked at my mum like she was mad old. But now I don't feel like how I viewed her, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I get you on that, man. Well, we're going to play Blackout, man. Just introduce this for us.
This was Blackout featuring Shaka, produced by Knox Brown, renowned. This little light of mine, it's like my peace of mind. Even when I'm in the dark, still gotta let me shine, let me fly. My mind's got wings on it, got a blue, got a brown, got a pink on it. My neck girl's got a sick on it. I splash cash and I drink solid. Woo! I don't wanna act bad, don't wanna see a pat flash. I just wanna black out without backlash. Don't wanna hear snap, snap, snap. That shit gets annoying. Wanna be alive, not just employed. Yeah, follow my heart. Even the lights got faith in the dark, amen.
So what can you tell us about the new album, man? You said that it's been completed for a long time, growing over life. It's been completed for a long time. There's a lot of expectations as well.
Yeah, it's a solid body of work, man. And I'm extremely happy. I'm honest on it. Pure, like, everything's made from the heart. There's bangers on there. There's great songs on there. There's stories on there. It's just a album what myself would make. But today, like I feel like I always make the same CD. But it gets better because the beats get better. I get better lyrically. I've got access to better choruses when I need them. You know, we've got more money we can go to Abbey Road if we want to get the violins and stuff like that and the strings and all that. So it's a progression. It's definitely a progression, but it's nothing. It's nothing that's gonna make you think like, oh gosh, what's this? Like, it's still a Wretch record. A lot of singing on the album because I can see, you know, you sang on the latest single, 6 Words, and I'm wondering how much courage did it take for you to back up to, you know, actually sing on the song. It might have did it just come like, you know what, I'm just gonna sing, that's how it goes, or I'm just gonna do it. I don't even call it singing though. I call it gliding in key. But that is the one-off piece out of the collection. That is the bespoke piece on the album. Like, if I was a tailor, that would be the only red suit in my shop. Do you feel confident enough to do it live? Yeah, I'm doing it live on Saturday. Yeah? Yeah. What, you got backup vocals or anything like that? You gotta have BVs, man. I've seen Drake, man. I've seen I've seen Janae. I get upset, man. I'm like, come on, guys. Do you know the maddest thing? Imagine I went to a live show recently. I'm not gonna say the artist. And the artist was more or less miming through the whole show. Wow. Like, and we don't expect that from, like, you know, R&B singers singing in like it's not an arena, it's not a live TV performance, this was a club. Wow. And this artist is basically miming. That's not on, man. Like, you have to be able to perform it. But obviously I can understand in a studio it is completely different. You have a lot of help. You know what I mean? But you just have to make sure that you get as much help live. You know, if not more. Man, it's the big celebration for Rinse 20. We're in the pop-up shop. We're in Dre Walk, off Brick Lane. Wretch, I got to say thank you very much for coming down, man. We're going to play 6 Words, of course, man. Just introduce this for us. Let's do it, man. This is my brand new single. It's 6 Words. I found my treasure in you. Bronze, silver, gold, no